soon as that cat went on my back, Dave and I went to blows. Next thing we knew, we were grabbed by the back of the head, and my dad just slammed us both together and knocked it off. And he walked back downstairs. And to this day, I do not know how he made it. Because he had a bar between his legs and that body cast all the way up here from motorcycle accident. So, I am the oldest, as I said. David William Mainwaring, born August 15, 1956, Oakland, Alameda County, California. I think he's 2-3 years old when we moved down here to Southern California. We moved into Santa Ana, and then we moved into Tustin, where I grew up, and most of they grew up. I found a poem I'd like to read and maybe really think of Dave here. It's called The Giver. You extended a helping hand and wipe a tear or two. Tell them it's going to be okay, this life we all go through. Has a way in teaching lessons, in suffering we find truth. You hold their pain and with tenderness, and their act to soothe. A voice of hope to give them, strength, a warmth and hands will do. Your smile wrap their hearts with peace, and they felt the love in you. Pouring light into their darkness, as salvation plants its roots. Their growth comes in phases, and now they have the tools to navigate their struggles and rewrite the rules. When the joy of life consumes you and everything turns out as planned, never forget the ones who always extend a helping hand. And I think that was all of David's life, was helping hand. That's what I really thought in that there. David was a fighter in more ways than one. At a very young age, we lived in Tustin, and they were doing a sewer line in front of our home. And that day, a tree got cut down, and unfortunately, Dave entered underneath that tree. The workers were trying to cut the tree, their saw just kept on quitting, and they went to roll the tree over, and they found his motionless body underneath the tree. And in his back was a scar where the chainsaw had hit him. They closed that job down for the rest of the week. I think every worker was in tears. Everything worked out for him a long time. It took a long time to heal. I remember the day Mom spanked him because he kept taking his wheelchair and running it into us. And she said, that's enough. And she went to the doctor and says, somebody just spanked him. She says, there's nothing wrong with his butt. It's his butt. That was only one of Dave's many challenges in life. As Lisa said, he had a rough life, and he conquered it and went into God. And I think that was right before or after he found Lisa. And that was a day of joy in his life. David would always protect your back. One of the times I remember, all three of us, Dave, Joe, myself, worked for Steel Case in Tustin. And I was supervision. I had to suspend a guy. He came back from lunch drunk. He was a forklift driver. I said goodbye and sent him home. That weekend there was a party, and this guy was bad-mouthing me at the party. I wasn't there, but unfortunately for him, Dave was. Dave walked up, tapped on the shoulder, and said, you don't talk about my brother that way. And next thing the guy knew, he's coming up 10 minutes later off the floor. And Dave could really throw a punch. Dave helped a lot of people, their addictions to drugs and booze. He helped people that I knew that brought them from drinking and that. He was known on the street more way than one. Dave would feed the homeless. I remember him calling me and telling me, I'm going down to Skid Row this weekend. I said, you what? And he says, yeah, I'm going down there. I'm taking my griddle, and I'm going to fix a breakfast. And I said, don't you worry if you're down there? His response was, he would just say, God had my hand. So he's like in prison. Actually says that the people down there would take care of him. Nobody would touch him. He fed them a lot of food, breakfast burritos, bacon, eggs, all that good stuff. Dave would also get lunches from Mary's Kitchen, and I was hoping to meet her, but I never got the chance. And he would take, through Mary's, only 500 bag lunches to Long Beach, and he would feed the homeless and hungry down there. Dave was always looking for people that needed help. I remember my mom was alive. Dave would bring a truckload of food home to her every week, and they helped separate it. And she was feeding 12 families in the mobile home park she lived in. So that was a monthly basis. There was a few times he even brought food out to my family. He called me, and I didn't need it, but he brought stuff, bacon and hot dogs, hamburgers. I had a lot of friends that needed that kind of stuff, and we took it to them. Then came Lisa and her girls, and Logan, which brought joy in his life. I mean, every time I talked to him on the phone, which was a lot, he couldn't help but talk about you guys. He had a lot of love for you girls and Lisa. And every time he talked, it was about you girls. And he should be glad. And he'll be watching over whoever takes that picture home with him. Remember, he's watching you. Now they don't want the picture. On his last trip to North Dakota, I talked to him every day. I know Lisa was too. Called, make sure he's okay on the road, make sure he had a hotel. He was in St. George, Utah. I had 2 grandsons that lived there, but I didn't have an address. But he said he would have went to see you. We went through Montana at the time that train came out that bridge not too long ago, if you remember that. There, he would tell me about that. Every time he stopped, he would call. We talked for a while. We would talk 2-3 times a week on a regular basis. If I didn't call, he was calling me. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Now he has passed and out of pain. No voices in his head. I think the neatest thing about it is he's back home.